I know the clock said it was like 2 minutes to go, but I'm ready to go. So, hey, how you doing? Welcome once again to Playing the Back of the Room, or what I call the preview episodes of this show, and where I talk every Thursday. We talk to Horatio and Michael Delaney, and I can see if I can get them in here. What's up, man?
Hey, hey.
You want me to send you a link to send to people?
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
You want YouTube?
Yes, I do. Yes, I do.
Okay, it's the same
I, I
one.
I don't care.
It's the
Just
same.
whatever I can put up on Facebook. So it's
Okay,
always the same.
it's always the same.
All right, I'll go back and pull it from before.
I think I have it right here, though. I can give it to you. So Horatio, I have this.
I do get mixed up. Thank you.
No problem. I have this. This picture. I'm going to show it to you in a second. I don't know. Did you see what used to be Utterback? I don't know who the artist that they have at Second City is now, but
Yeah,
there's a cartoon. What do you call those things? Caricatures?
Caricature.
characters.
Caricature? They're very common in theater, right? Where an artist will come in and draw the character or the cast of the show, and
Yes.
um,
Yes, this was mentioned last week.
kind of like the yes, we mentioned last week, Utterback. The pictures that are in the famous restaurant in New York in off Broadway.
Mm-hmm.
The
Um, I f-
palm.
the Palm,
The
and then there's
palm
another
has
one.
that hair.
It's a lady's name, a place that everybody would gather at. Uh,
Oh
a
yeah,
lady,
yeah.
but it had these
Elaine's?
Elaine's. Yes, Elaine's has the pictures of the caricatures on the wall, right? Of celebrities.
That's Mike's hangout. I don't really hang out over there.
Yeah, that's where Woody
That's
plays.
Mike's turf.
That's Woody's.
Oh, that's right. That's Woody's.
I
Is that
sent
right?
you over. Sent you over a link, Mike.
How about yeah? Send them a picture, or let's
Okay.
post a
The
picture.
the actual yeah, I'm
No,
going to
I'm
show you
getting.
right
He's
now.
sending me a
Actually, the
link for Facebook.
yeah, I sent you a link for Facebook, and that picture is actually in that link. It's in the thing that I made for the YouTube video. Let me show it here. Can you see that? It's probably pretty small on your
Yeah.
screen. Can you see yourself in there? This is the so this is the caricature that they made for the SNL 50th anniversary. Eckhart is the artist name now, I guess. And
What's his name?
these Eckhart, and these are all the alumni, all the people that came from Second City who worked at Saturday Night Live.
Okay. That's
And,
the same artist?
it's not the same artist that did our original Utterback. His name was
I, I,
Utterback. He died.
I didn't think
Um,
so.
but they have an artist that does drawings of each show, and so he did a drawing of all of us, the alumni from Saturday Night Live.
Some of these are a
Can
little
you
hard to make out.
I think they're all
can you
hard to make
see
out.
these? That's
They're all,
Jerry,
they,
and I'm above him. See that?
they all look alike.
I know all due respect, it's not the best, but yeah, there I am. Back there.
Keserinsky doesn't look that different from Mary Gross.
Oh, that's cool. That's Jerry, Bill Murray, and me, like the three best.
Where's you, Raj?
He's right above Bill
I'm
Murray. Bill
right.
Murray has a mustache.
Oh, it's Mustachio Bill Murray and he's above you? Who's that?
I'm
I'm
above him, and then yeah, that's Jerry. Jerry's right down there because he's Bill
I'm
Murray's
right
left
be-
hand man.
I'm
You're
right
down
below
next to
Bill Murray.
Gilda?
I'm right next to Gilda
Because
Radner. Yeah,
because you and Gilda were buddies.
yeah. Now over my right shoulder, up above me, is Ali Faranakian.
That's
can use the
Ali.
right on it. Wait,
He's
who's
a
that?
writer.
That's George Lucas above Ali.
I know. Let's
Is that Del
see.
Close?
Del
He was
Close
in
is up in
ETC.
the
He never made it to main stage.
Del Close is up in the corner, up in the picture. You can see up in the left hand corner, up on the lattice work in the archway above.
Okay.
Interesting.
That's his
Wow,
face.
they got Dell's face. He's up there like Socrates or somebody.
And
Oh, that must be
who
Hey,
Tina.
who's the guy next to you there on my left?
on your left? Yeah, let's see.
Not George Lucas, the other guy?
Peter Aykroyd. And the other guy, the
Okay.
guy with the beard on the other side of you is Nate Herman.
Oh, Nate Hyman.
Yeah.
Did he
Oh,
write?
Nate Herman.
Must have been the guy right there. He was big in '62 around that time. Early Second City.
All
I
right,
broke
folks.
my
Well,
arm.
I love
that's the show.
I
I
love a
guess we'll see you next
caricature.
week.
Yeah, bye-bye.
Bye bye. Bye bye.
Welcome to looking at caricatures of ourselves. This is my first episode, please. If you'd like to join the Patreon, you can see caricatures of us making love to our special plus ones.
This week, focus on Don Martin. Um,
So anyway, yeah, just a little history.
Hey,
A
what-
lot of people. I should have counted up how many people that they had. And they
Impressive
go.
group.
It's really talented people. And they go from a long, from the beginning of the show all the way till now.
It's
What?
yeah. Whoever was on SNL, hired by SNL from Second City, is in that picture.
Yes.
I don't know, Jerry. I just linked it. I linked it onto Facebook, and it looks more like an article about Saturday Night Live. SNL plus Second City equals a funny baby.
Yeah. It's the title of this video.
Okay, is that the right link?
Yeah.
I'm just duping people. I didn't tell them what it was. It just looks like now it's just deceit.
Why do you think
If I
that?
put this, I gotta delete this and put it back up. I'll edit and add a caption. Because it looks like people are linking to some SNL article, but it's actually us three goofballs goofing around.
Oh, yeah. Of course. Well, hey, how are you gonna get more information about that subject than from us, right?
There you go.
That's right.
I'll tell
I'm
you.
an
That's why.
SCTV
That's why I came
aficionado.
to Second City, was so I could do Saturday Night Live. Now,
I did this
when I got there, I was like, oh, there's other stuff to do. But the reason I was there was just, oh, the people from Saturday Night Live, they worked at this theater, so I think I'll go there. That's pretty much all I knew.
Jerry, what was
Raj,
the
was
name
that
of our show? What was the name of our show? I don't know if we did two or one, but the one we did where we were the couple, the hustlers. What's the name of it?
River
It's not.
Ants?
River Ants. You gotta
That's
look
River
up.
Ant.
Stop
I
rolling.
can't believe I'm the one
Stop
who
rolling your
remembered.
spliffs
I
and
wasn't
look up.
even
You
there.
can see it, Horatio. Here it
I
is.
wasn't even there.
You see it? Horatio's not looking.
I'm trying to find. Oh yeah, yes. I have
Yay,
that.
River Ants.
I'm trying to find the utter back of you and me, and then you look like a woman, just to remind people what we're talking about.
I
He
got
has
it.
you in drag.
Right. Well, let me catch up our two viewers. That of course, every Second City cast gets their
That's nice
caricature
downstairs.
done. They do a cartoon of your cast, everybody, and they're usually really good, better than that one. Sorry, whoever drew that. But
He's
and
watching.
then when Raj and Jerry were in that show together, they drew Jerry as a very fetching woman.
I got that. Yeah, it's downstairs. It's on the wall downstairs, so that
Oh,
everybody that comes in can see it.
It's a good one. Were you guys in with Miriam?
yes, Miriam and Brian
Yeah,
Totally.
and Neil
Oh,
Flynn,
Miriam and Brian. Got it.
yeah, they both were
as well as
in the
Jerry
cast
and
scene.
Laura Kraft.
Hmm.
Oh, wow. And Laura. Wow, what a cast.
That was a good.
Who else was
That
in
was a
there?
good group. I think that's it. I hope I'm not missing anyone.
Yeah,
Dwyer around?
he was in that. He
Brian
was in
was
that
later.
cast. He was later though.
He
He
came in
came
later.
after Brian left. Brian and
Yeah, I
Miriam
think
left.
Brian and
Well, that's a big shoe to fill.
It kind of just changed. Our whole cast kind of composition just changed, and it was just a whole different. If you know anything about that, you know how you just did different kind of stuff. It just wasn't the same,
Yeah. Yeah.
Um, yeah.
I think Neil Flynn was
Yeah, it's
getting
like
kind
doing
of
a
bored
play.
too.
Every time you do a play, it's a different play. Like every Hamlet is different. It's a different guy playing Hamlet. Everything. It's just a different play. And when you do a sketch, when someone else takes a sketch over, they got to kind of take it over. They got to. Sometimes it's like a song where you end up just singing it the way the guy before you sang it because that's the way you heard it. But sometimes it's kind of one of those loosey goosey things you got to make your own.
So we're saying, yeah. So in one of the cartoons, they drew me as a very, very lovely woman. Now this is how I look in drag. I'm a disgusting. I look disgusting in drag. I mean, we all do, of course.
They could have
Attraction.
done better with your hair.
Well, I think the whole idea was that we looked pretty raggedy, because we're like supposed to
Yeah.
be dressed like fly girls, but it's like 2000. And you can see Tracy. Tracy asked for that scar. She said, "Give me a
Oh, cesarean.
cesarean
What
scar
scar? Oh no!
and make
Oh
it go
no!
all the
He
way
doesn't
from my
want-
chest, all the way down to my belly." And we're like, "Well, that looks like open heart surgery, dude. Just do it. Just do it."
Oh no!
And you
Tracy's
can
fucking insane.
you can
He's
tell
like,
from the
that
way.
fucking love that shit. He loves cesarean scars and finds them sexy.
Is that right?
Cesarean
Well,
scar.
life becomes art. Life and art do this.
That
Like
meant to-
like
He rose up with some funny perverts. His parents were funny perverts.
Hey, Raj, which microphone are you using? Are you using the good
I'm
one?
He's
using
gonna
the
get.
one that
Here we go
I'm
again.
using the one that takes 3 seconds to respond.
It sounds like you're under
See,
you're in a gold
I'm using the
fishbowl.
phone's. No, I'm just using the phone's microphone.
That's better. Now you're in real time.
Better, right?
It is
All
better.
right,
Yes.
good.
You know the
Because my jokes aren't landing. It's taking 3 seconds for you guys, and then you're like on to something else.
What?
Didn't you do a sketch? You did a sketch that was that with, I think with Catan, where it was just insane pauses. I think it was some duo that got back together.
It was
They
like
tried
that.
to do that.
It was like
on
someone.
first. It
Yeah,
was interminable pauses.
it's so stupid. It's that point, like Rollo. I'm Rollo. Rollo, you're Rolo. I'm Rollo. Stupid. Really
They went with
stupid.
it.
That was really fun.
There was so much
Yeah, we were-
negative space.
I don't know
There's
why
tons of
we were-
negative space.
I don't know why we were communicating together, but he was in Iraq or something, and I was somewhere else, maybe.
That's right. That's right. It was the duo. It was a duo, but you were on satellite.
Yeah. That was our satire about the fact that those things hadn't quite gotten there yet. Hey, Reason, come here, boy. Reason gets vicious when anybody walks by.
I'm not scared of that dog.
You kill him?
I'm just not scared of him. Just you can do what you will.
Wow.
Yeah, it's okay. I'm not scared. He's all right. whoever. All right.
Wow, sounds like Jerry's got a chip about Raisin
It
there.
worked.
Making
It
it
worked.
known he's not afraid of him.
Well, he's trying to show off,
Look,
so I got a little something
he's-
for him. If he's got
Yeah.
something
So
to
I
say.
talked to him. I told him what Jerry said, and he's now laying in bed.
See,
Got his hackles up.
Sometimes
no,
tough
he'll
love.
back down.
sometimes,
Tough love works.
sometimes, all the time, all you need is tough love.
Are you a
Raisin,
strict dad?
if anyone even walked by Horatio's house, Raisin would kick up a huge fuss. But if he was sleeping in bed, you could ransack the joint, and he would not
my
go
dog-
downstairs
my
and
dog's
find
the
out
same
what was
way.
going on.
I know. My dog only barks if I'm home. It doesn't bark if somebody like people can walk in like hello.
Do you
I've
have
tried
food?
to calm him down. Like when someone would come in and he doesn't like he, for some reason when he was younger he really hated white hair. So anybody who had white hair, they would get barked at. And then he kind of chilled. But I was like, once he goes off, it's just hard to stop him. So the thing is, try to stop it early. This is for all you dog.
Well, he
owners.
prefers blondes too when it comes to other dogs.
Well, in females, yes.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I think but the grayness is too much for them. He's like, what the fuck is that? That's a different species.
That's weird. That is weird.
Yeah.
Welcome to
that's
Dog
funny.
Talk. This is,
My dog don't like people with white hair. I don't know.
my
I
dog
think
doesn't
I
like brothers.
inherited
You know what I
it,
mean?
I say,
My
So
dog's
when I
got
was-
a problem with brothers.
When I was growing up, and you got a Boston hat, that sounds like something that they'd say in Boston all the time. I'm sorry, my dog don't
What's
like
that?
black people. My dog don't like
Yeah,
black
guess
people.
what?
Sorry.
Guess
But
what,
when I was-
Jerry? We got a dog. We got a used dog when I lived in Newton, Massachusetts, just outside of Boston. And it was half German Shepherd, half Husky, never gave anyone any problems. My friend Charles Smith, who happened to be black, comes over the house on his bike, and the dog fucking attacked him. Went after Charles, never went after anybody. That's
Well, you know,
that's exactly
they've been
what
trained
Jerry was
for
just
they've been
talking
trained for they've been trained for thousands of years to attack black people, so it's hard to beat that out of them.
about. You think that was bred into them?
The German
racism?
Shepherd, yeah, the German Shepherd thing
Yeah.
is just like kill anything darker than this. So American Indians, Latinos.
Well, weren't we just talking about how it was a blunder when George Foreman got off the plane with German Shepherds because that meant only one thing.
Yeah, because from the
To those
Europeans
people.
they use dogs. Yeah.
Mhm.
For people
Didn't
who
help
didn't
his
know
cause.
what those dogs look like, they brought them there. So they're just like, what are those things?
They don't
Our
like you.
our dogs like
Whoever
live,
they are.
live in the
It's
jungle.
just like
They don't
mythical
like-
wolves.
Yeah.
If you've never seen one, you're like, what the fuck? That's a wild fucking wolf.
Yeah. You got it on a chain and you're attacking people. Yeah.
I still can't tell the difference between a wolf and a dog.
Come
Well,
on.
there's not much of a difference. The only thing is that they're domesticated and they really don't know how dogs started.
Well, wolves
I
are
adopted.
coyotes.
I thought
Wolves
I
are
adopted a
huge.
dog. It ended up being a wolf, and it chewed my dad's hand off.
Oh,
Wait
really?
A minute.
The wolf.
Roger's making that up. His dad
No,
loves
he's not.
terrible
That's
bit.
true.
cancer.
You
It's
you
true.
never make anything up like that. That's true.
A wolf
You
ate my
shut
dad's
up.
hand off, and I was like, "Shit! I thought it was a dog. Sorry, Dad." Luckily, or not, unluckily, he had his arm amputated after that.
All right, we're cutting
and-
to a movie now. Now Jerry's gonna show a whole feature film.
The man who owned it. How did he turn him into a racist dog?
It's simple. Find a black wino who desperately needs a drink, or a black junkie who'll do anything for a fix. And then pay them to beat that dog of yours when he was a puppy.
You got yourself an attack dog.
White dog.
What the fuck?
White dog.
Someone-
Dog likes to
someone
taste
was
the
bound to
black
do it.
blood. was a movie. It was a TV. It was a TV movie too. It was a fucking TV movie.
I would have watched it.
CBS.
That must have been. That was probably after Roots. Yeah, they needed a lot of the black programming now because of Roots.
Yeah, it was
Anything to make
81.
fun of.
It was 81. I remember this movie too, man. It was like it was like a black horror movie. You know, it was like,
Oh my God.
you know, like that was like a Get Out from the 80s. You know?
Yeah.
Yeah, but they made it.
This
They
shit can
made
happen,
it.
like-
There's no nod.
That's awesome.
You know, when I watched these kind of things when I was a kid, it wasn't just me. I'm in a family of 4. There's 4 of us. So I'm with 3 other critics who are just barbing the thing. So we watched whatever we could make fun of the hardest.
Yeah. Yeah, I think I can't remember. Like, this would have been something I would have made fun of. As 81, so I was already like, you know, I was in middle school. I would have made fun of something like this, but I remember being like kind of scared of it. Like, oh. But I do remember like making fun of it not much later than that. Like, remember that movie White Dog, the racist dog? White dog, the racist dog. He don't like niggers. He don't like blacks. He don't like. And it was good.
That's the
White
pilot.
Dog.
That's the pilot of the theme.
Oh
Theme
yeah,
of
no,
White Dog.
it was White Dog by Hasbro. You can buy them. White Dog by Hasbro. Get off my lawn. You don't belong here. Get White Dog.
Yeah, when the Delaney kids made fun of stuff, we weren't it didn't have that much satirical depth. It was pretty superficial stuff.
You just watch it and go, "That's cheesy," or "What the hell?" Like, "Oh yeah,
What the hell? Just what is this?
yeah."
Maybe I'm 81. I might have been like, of course, yeah, because I remember like going to. I grew up in like kind of in White Trashville, and especially around this time in the 80s, I was living like right on the edge of like the rural. So people would literally go like, "Hey man, my dog don't like black people, so I'll keep walking." It's okay. He don't like blacks. Why not? Well, I taught him not to. What do you think?
What do you think?
Why would that be? Well, he knows.
If they knew more black people, the dog would be less afraid. But it's just they don't see black people. They never have black people over the house, so the dog sees something different and he freaks out.
Oh no,
And
they would be like, no, he don't like him, and that's good. I'd like, you know, like around here. So
sorry, that's what we do here.
So watch
Don't
out.
think
Yeah.
coming on my property. Don't think coming around fucking around by my house.
Yeah, they say that like you know, the dog would be normal or whatever. It probably hated everybody, but he was like, hey, you don't like black people, so just so you got in your mind, don't come around here.
Yeah,
Just, you know, just so you know.
Sounds like Delaney.
Yeah, but then I went to therapy. Then I went to that camp. And they deprogrammed me. Like at Tommy's holiday camp. You just play pinball, and you realize that pinball brings everyone together.
Oh, you want to have a pinball camp?
Tommy.
That was the theme in the movie the rock opera Tommy.
Oh yeah, I don't think I ever saw that.
You got healed by playing pinball the way Tommy did, just using your feelings. That your eyes and your ears and your words are just an illusion.
I
Like
I closed my eyes
Baba,
when I played pinball.
When Raj playing pinball is like watching someone try to get a cat to jump out of a washing machine.
Come on.
It's a man
I'm not
taking
that bad of a
giant rock
nudger.
and shaking it around until he gets it to do what no one works the machine. The box really works it than Raj. He's a good player, Because you got to work the bumpers. If you don't work the bumpers, that's it. You're dead.
Yep. You got to work the bumpers, the tops. Now, and
Well,
I don't.
I meant more the side, off on the
These
sides.
are the side bumpers.
Yeah.
These are the side bumpers,
Mm-hmm.
right?
Mm-hmm.
And you got to get it right on the bolt. Is where, of course, there's no bounce. So I'm always trying to work the
Get
ball
it
Right.
up, and then
Yeah.
yeah,
to
so you
those
can.
posts, one post
Because
to
the
the
ball's
other. That
coming
way
this.
you're
If the ball's
holding
not
it.
heading where you want it, move the machine. So now it is.
Yeah.
Yeah. He
And then,
tilts. That's why
but
Ron's the tilt king.
what's
He tilts
important
more
is the
than heavy
machine
players.
has three warning. It has two warnings, and the third you're tilted. So a lot of time when I'm playing a machine, I'm learning about it. I start learning how to not try to get a cat into a washing machine. Uh, it, it's then it's I got to be more gentle. So it's all part of the strategy. You got to see how far you can go a little bit, and then you calm down. Anyway, I'm a professional pinball player. We both are, right, Mike?
I'm an amateur, but I want to play like a professional. Now Eric Drysdale, he's got a rating and everything. He competes. He does all the local competitions. In fact,
Yeah.
he and I drove up to Middletown to play a machine because they had some of the machines that were going to be moved to be in one of the tournaments he was in, so he could practice on the actual machine. It turned out he could practice on the machine that was going to be in the thing. I don't know if it gave him an edge or not.
Of course it did.
Might have.
Where did he go drive to?
We drove up to Middleton. There's this huge record store pinball joint there. It's like a room within a room. You keep going. There's more and more smaller and smaller rooms as you go with more and more obscure machines.
Wow, that sounds great.
Yeah, we should take a trip up there next time you come east.
So Lunar Spunk says the urban legend about the family that brought the Chihuahua in Mexico, and it turned out to be a large rat.
Yeah,
That's not a legend. That actually
it
happened.
is now. It did happen, but it is because everyone knows about it. So it's not mythological. It's factual, but it has gone to legendary status.
So did
So
this rat
the
have a
question
deformity
is,
that made his face look more like a dog?
Um,
that's a different legend.
yeah.
I imagine it was probably all black. It must have had nice big ears, so
Nice figures.
nice big floppers that you could squeeze, and you got to
My
get a good
brother had
squeeze of
pet
the
rats.
oily
They
velvet.
make, yeah. Yes, they're velvety, yes. The question is, did they keep it, or did they just kick it to death when they found out?
Kick it to death.
They probably took it to the state fair.
To have it butchered, or to
Have
say,
have it
you
auctioned
know,
off.
Zucker's famous pig, have it auctioned? No,
Or no, they
I
buy it and
imagine they kept it.
then they take it on a freak show tour, like like the Elephant Man.
That's a
Okay, now
good movie idea.
Great
I'm
movie.
I'm looking at a article that says
No, I wasn't saying good movie about Elephant Man. I was saying it was a good movie idea. But yes, Elephant Man is the best movie.
Yep, it's
You know,
you haven't
Raj,
seen it,
I
but it's
went
David
back and
Lynch.
I went and peeked at one of these, the playback of one of these podcasts that we do, and I realized that it I don't hear well because it seemed to me like it was just me missing what you guys are saying and talking about other things. Sometimes there's
Yeah,
totally different conversations going on. I think I'm in my own pods.
you're
But
doing
when
what
you
old
look at the
people do, which
playback,
is just they don't admit they didn't hear something. They just go, "Yeah, yeah," and you're like, "What did I just say?" I don't know.
yeah,
Listen.
I'm barely hearing, and what I'm getting is on a delay. But then when you look at the playback, it looks like everybody can hear everybody, and the sound is fine. It's just this guy not listening to anybody.
Maybe your headphones are delaying you.
Maybe I'm the delay. The call's coming from inside the house.
Yeah.
You adjust some dials.
So I guess there was a a rumor that Chihuahuas were actually rats. That they there was a rumor that somebody analyzed their DNA and they were actually a large rodent, which isn't true. But that's a great rumor to start.
I guess that's a fun one. Yeah.
It's fun. You know they're actually rats, right?
Though.
What?
It's not believable.
Yeah, your dog's a rat.
Those fucking super large. Now those things look like rats, which is terrifying. Like Guayabera or something like that. Guayabera's a shirt, but it's something.
Capybara.
It's a capybara, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
The big teeth and.
That's fucking bigger than a Chihuahua. It's almost as big as I think it's like as big as Raisin.
Yeah, those things can get big like little pigs.
Yeah. But they never attack people until something happened last week where it's like, for the first time documented, this woman was eaten to death by this thing.
By capybara, really? Like they got big teeth. They got big giant teeth. They can fight too, I guess.
It attacked. The lady must have gotten near its babies or something. I don't know if she died, but it's something like that.
Lunch has left the aircraft. She's doing an EVA.
Yes.
For vehicular activity. What's a weightless environment like, Horatio?
It's a heavy experience, man. Oddly enough.
Here we go. Now he's back on gravity.
Yeah. And then I just heard the other day that two coyotes killed a lady.
What?
Oh,
that's not true.
And it's the first time it was a documented attack on humans. The first time they killed a human.
How could they kill you, man? They're not that big, man. How could must have been an old lady or something.
Yeah, she was 104.
Them.
Still,
I wish a coyote would try some shit with me.
She might have tried to get too close and personal with them.
Jerry, be careful because a coyote will take your balls off, and then you won't want to fight.
I'm not scared. We had a coyote. We had a coyote here.
He's not afraid of racing. He's not afraid of coyotes. The list goes on.
We had a coyote in our guy, coyote killed a I don't know, a beaver or something. It was like a rodent. It was like a dead rat out here, and they knew a coyote. So all the neighbors went crazy. So they got a coyote catcher or whatever out here. And at night, I hear like my kid wakes up and is like, "What is that sound?" And it was awful. It was like this awful like. And I went out and they had set a trap for the coyote, and the coyote was caught in the trap, and it fucking screamed all night. And I was just like, "Can they come and fucking get that fucking thing now?" And it screamed. It stopped screaming. It stopped screaming in the morning, but.
For that.
Poor honey.
I know, right? Well, they came and got it in the morning, but like, of course, the thing got trapped at night. Yeah.
Like, what do you
know? If you set the trap and the thing's in the trap, you take care of it now.
Right? You go get it whenever they're like, "Oh, we'll be by."
Well, guys were fucking sleeping, and they're like, "It'll be fine."
No, you don't get it. They
know not to call each other in the middle of the night.
Right. It's like it won't make any noise. Like it's like this fucking thing is screaming like a baby.
Jeez.
Good Lord.
No coyote around here. But Rod, you said you couldn't recognize a wolf. You would if you were standing next to a coyote. Because a wolf kind of dwarfs a coyote. They're big. You can have a wolf puppy and not know it's a wolf for a while. But after a while, you will know. You'll know.
I'm still listening.
Well, no, Jerry's playing a film strip.
It's the capybara. It's attacking this lady. It looks like it's not attacking her. It's just jumping on her back. It's biting her, though.
Looks like they're playing.
It looks like he's playing. He is biting. He's biting her in the back of the head.
That is an attack. She must be in his territory.
The music.
He must have some parasite in his brain that makes him aggressive.
Jerry's right. It's the music. The music makes it seem like maybe he's just doing water sports.
It's possible he plays rough. Dogs are sometimes like that. They
I
have to.
don't
They
like
have to learn to
animals
calm
playing
down.
rough. That's no fun. Loki caught me on the finger. Give me a. See,
Well, you
it's
try.
small.
You always like hold them upside down and stuff. You always torture them.
No, other cat. Maybe when I was a kid, something like that. But no, no, you can't get that close to Loki. He won't let you hold him upside down. It never gets that far.
I guess it was Whitey that you would do that with.
Whitey liked it. He loved it.
Yeah.
Oh, you named your dog Whitey?
My cat was named Whitey
Yeah.
before I got him.
Yeah, me
Before
too.
we got him, he was named Whitey. We adopted him.
I
and
name
he
all
was
my
beloved.
animals Whitey.
Did you?
Good.
Whitey,
Good on you.
heel.
Down, Whitey. Down into the basement. Get down on the floor and eat your food on the floor, Whitey.
Oh, Jerry, you got stuff to work out, man. You shouldn't take that out on animals.
What do you mean? What do you mean? Down, Whitey. Not now.
You have so many pets. You have so many dogs and cats named Whitey, and you have such an aggressive relationship with all of them.
Aggressive at all. I love my white dog.
I love my white lizard. Get under the rock, Whitey.
What? White lizard.
I don't know. Just saying, you got stuff to work out is all. Animals are precious. They're sensitive. They have.
Hey, today's first day of baseball. If anybody
Oh
cares.
yes, my son cares.
Is it opening day?
Is your son a Padres fan? Detroit.
Dodgers.
Dodgers, yeah.
Dodgers and
Tough not to
Padres.
like the best team.
Dodgers and Padres. Yeah, we are mortal enemies, but he likes them both.
Yeah, you have to let your kids fuse onto the team they want to fuse onto. You know, it's bound to be local.
Yeah, it's all about LA.
I gave my son all the room. You know, we lived in Queens, and I gave him all the room in the world to become a Mets or Yankees fan, and he just fused onto Boston teams.
Ugh.
Because his dad is a Celtics fan. Just
Celtics, I don't mind. Celtics, I don't mind. Red Sox, well, you know, whatever. I don't care. I'm not into that. Yankees, I don't care.
Well, I always felt a kinship to Boston because they hadn't won in so long, and we hadn't won longer.
I don't know where my camera is. Is it here? There it is.
Yep.
You know,
Raj,
they would be
there was a
taunted with the
kinship.
1914, right? Is that it?
Yeah, 1914.
We
Yeah.
were the two.
So we were the two
teams that,
bottom dwellers.
yeah, a couple of algae eaters. But we broke them. We both broke our
Both
streaks.
broke them. Yeah.
And that's it. And it's
No,
hard
it's
for you to
Cleveland.
have.
I think Cleveland has a 60-year drought, something like that.
Yes.
Ooh.
Yeah, they're the last.
Come on, Indians.
The Guardians. Yeah.
Oh,
Guardians.
They changed it.
Yeah.
Yeah, they changed it like, what, 5 years ago?
Well, being behind the times, that's what I do.
And the Redskins are no longer the Redskins either.
Commanders?
What are they now?
The
Commanders?
Commanders.
So now they're named after the guys who killed the Redskins.
I don't think
Yep.
they're those kind of commanders.
I think they are that kind of commander.
The conquistadors.
They're the ones that ordered all the buffalo to be murdered. They were going to call them the Buffalo Killers, but then they changed it to the Commanders. And
the Washington disease blankets.
Yeah.
the extinctionists. The genociders.
Mascots are always weird anyway. I forgot. I just heard a mascot. I was just like, where does that mascot come from?
Some of them are getting ill-defined, where it's not as simple as it's a
Well,
tiger,
like
it's an eagle.
like the thunder, or I forgot one.
That's a tough
Um,
one.
You know, the White Sox used to have a guy who looked like an alcoholic clown. And
that
you
was
kind
their
of do.
mascot though.
But it wasn't. Yeah, it wasn't a suit. It was just an alcoholic clown.
Yeah, he was in a kind of a baseball uniform, right? Like a
He was like half clown, but
clown,
he was sweaty and like just looked like a hobo. It
a
was actually
bum. Yeah,
basically a hobo.
yeah.
Then he was a
because he didn't
clown.
even.
So if he's a baseball playing clown and that's his outfit, it means he's a former player who's now down and out. He's probably an alcoholic. He lives.
Yeah,
He's a
exactly.
homeless, out of work baseball player that just ended up in the gutter.
Still hanging around. Still hanging around.
Still hangs around the field though.
I don't even remember his bits. It must have been like, whoa, the hat going up and maybe catch it in the back and get out of here, directing traffic, maybe. That whole bit.
Andy the Clown.
Andy the Clown.
Andy
That's such
Rosdilsky.
That's the most unambitious clown name I've ever heard.
Now, the pictures that I'm seeing, he just looked like a clown. He didn't look like the bum. I remember the bum looking one.
Maybe that's me in my dark mind.
I think, or was it the White Sox? Because I remember, I thought it was Philadelphia. Although Philadelphia, I thought it was
real
like
dirtbaggy.
I know, right? It was
What's
some
the
dirtbag
Utah
city.
Jazz mascot, I wonder? Because jazz is a form of art. It's hard to articulate that in mascot form.
It's 12 wives.
But it's just it's kind of weird that Utah. Yeah, it's 12 wives. That's their mascot. Jerry, good one.
The Utah wives. The brides. There's a million of them.
Everyone give it up for
The Poligs.
Utah wives.
Those are the Poligs.
The Poligs.
The what?
The
Poligs. They wouldn't name it after the women. They'd name it after the pimp guy that has the 7 wives.
The Poligs is the G League team. That's just what they call them.
Yeah, Andy the Clown. He doesn't look like a bum. He just looks like a clown. But I do remember a bum
That was
clown.
Rogers' memory. Rogers' memory rewrote that, so it was a hobo clown. So
I saw him in real life, though, so it was probably one of those nights where he's super hungover and sweaty.
Yeah, it's probably because he didn't wash his costume for 6 months. And it was...
You imagine him and Harry Carey must have got fucked up often.
And the clown. You imagine
He's
like,
like,
before the game.
I never hang around a clown. What's wrong with you?
Fucking clown ass piece of shit. You fucking shot with me.
Everybody hates that fucking clown. Hey, Harry, you want to have a drink? Fuck off. I'm Harry Carey.
Fucking clown. We're all hanging out, buying rounds and shots. And then finally, after about the 9th round, we're like, hey, motherfucker, are you ever going to pay for one? He's like, oh, gotta go. Fuck that clown. So many good rounds of shots. Everybody's being gentlemanly and buying them. And then this fucking clown comes around. I like people being such alcoholics that they've gone through many rounds of shots, because that's how we used to do it.
Mad. He didn't take his turn. Yeah, Andy the Clown, guarantee you, fucking freeloader. Clown, it's not a real job. Some of us work around here.
I don't know what they fucking pay him with, hot dogs or something, because the fucker never brings money to the tavern, I'll tell you that much.
That's after like 3 years. The clown's like, well, I thought we were fucking friends, man. No, we're not. Fucking 3 years.
You smell like shit. You smell like the dog shit.
He's just in a bad mood, Andy. Come back tomorrow. I'm not in a bad mood. Don't fucking come back here without any money. Fucking clown.
Harry Carey, man. He's famous for the game's over. I'm going downtown to the bars. See you soon. I think like the Tribune printed up one of his bar tabs or something once. Bar tab. And it was just fucking insane. Like,
But he would buy drinks for
Really?
everybody too, though. That's other
that's
thing.
right, yeah. He'd be the life of the
So,
party by with drinks too. Yeah.
Yeah. Now
But
people
then
would
go to another bar and then go to like another and then,
yeah, he was like the
be
party.
up at
Like people
9
like, oh,
o'clock
he's
for the game.
yeah, he's over there. Like people would show up. Like, oh, you got to go wherever he's fucking hanging out. Like, it's
Yeah.
John Candy was like that. They said John Candy always paid, even though all during the SCTV years, and they're all supposed to be making the same amount of money, but he always insisted on paying.
yeah. He was he came to our opening when we opened Second City in Detroit and came and hung out with us. It's crazy. That was
Really?
maybe a couple of months before he died.
Wow.
Yeah.
Oh
Did he have
shit,
his
yeah.
beard?
Very. Yeah.
Did he have his big beard? Yeah.
Yep.
Wow.
That was when he and Gretzky had bought that. They bought a team.
A football, right? A Canadian
team?
football team?
Yeah.
I think they won.
I think they did. They might have had the Argonauts, maybe. But yeah, it was right that time. I think they just bought him.
Johnny Toronto.
Yeah.
I heard Dan Aykroyd say him and some of the guys were in the crowd looking at it. They're like, "Look, it's John." John was down in the field. They're like, "You did it, Johnny Truck." As John Candy would say, "I'm going to take over this town," and they started calling him Johnny Toronto.
Oh,
That was the proto Johnny LaRue was Johnny Toronto. Was this kind of fictional, blown up, mythical version of John Candy that Dan Aykroyd and his friends had of him. And there's Aykroyd in this crowd, and everybody going, "Look, it's Johnny Toronto. He did it."
So my head to pause. I'm catching upstream, but you guys know Bill Brasky? I don't know Bill Brasky, but I know Johnny Toronto. Johnny Toronto. On
You know
time,
what they
Johnny.
say about Brasky, but you should have heard Toronto.
Toronto, get this. Toronto would go to an Irish bar and order Irish car bombs all night long. And the bartenders were offended. Johnny Toronto didn't give a fuck. Johnny Toronto.
He'd go into a Turkish bistro and draw Muhammad on the wall. Here's Johnny Toronto.
He went into a halal.
I'll take that last one.
Johnny
back.
Toronto went into a halal with a ham sandwich. He didn't give a fuck.
He goes.
He goes, they say, "Get out of here." He goes, "Hold on." He goes into the bathroom and he takes the paper towel from the wall, cuts it, wraps it around his head, comes out, and he goes, "Hey, I'm a big mom. Give me some fucking food."
And they gave it to him.
And they gave
it to him.
Johnny Toronto.
Who wrote that Bill Brasky thing? Was that an
Adam
thing? It sounds
Yeah.
like something that they
McKay's-
came up with, like drinking.
Who knows who came up with it, but it's got Adam's fingerprints all over it.
Yeah, so good.
I think Bill Brasky's kind of an asshole.
Bill Brasky's like,
He's like Paul Bunyan.
Mad Men. He's one of the Mad Men guys.
Yeah. Yes, he is.
Oh man,
Oh, Jerry's vaporized.
I'll be
for a
back.
moment.
Hold
No,
on.
it's just nice that you get replaced with that ribbon of smoke, which is AI, we understand. Based on a cigar some guy smoked.
Somebody trained a trained a large language model about cigar
Mm-hmm.
smoke.
Mm-hmm. How much manpower does it take to create an exact replica of a cigar some guy smokes?
Oh
Where you
yeah,
could
well
have just,
this smoke
could
is
just turned on your camera phone.
yeah, this smoke is the equivalent of 3
It's
barrels
the
of oil.
product of
Can you, can you
900 man hours times 3
can
to
you make the
create the
square
smoke
our
effect.
can you make each of our squares smaller so I can see more smoke? Yeah. Oh, now we see it.
See, I think it creates a lot of too much tension when when there's a lot of smoke.
Because it seems like someone's house is on fire.
A little bit.
Well, this
I
is
like
how we
it though.
would do
I
it.
think visually it's mesmerizing. I
This is
like
the
it.
back room, the comedy back room, right? What's it called, Jerry?
Yeah, the back of the room,
The
right?
back of the room.
Back of the
Yeah,
room. And so in the back of the room in the old days, you'd sit there, smoke cigarettes, and you judge.
that's
You
right.
judge people.
That's
Right,
right.
like the four Delaney kids watching the Brady Bunch, just making fun of everybody.
When we did fucking Second City back in the day, we smoked our asses off. Like just completely fucking everybody else who didn't smoke up. But the director smoked, I smoked, Jerry smoked, everybody smoked.
Yeah, people smoked.
Hey,
I remember.
While rehearsing, like, I don't know, that idea is kind of weird. Maybe if we do this, I wouldn't say, yeah, that's kind of weird. Let's not do your idea. That's not how Second City and teamwork should work.
I remember so mad. We had a couple of directors, only a couple, most directors, but there were a couple of directors, Sheldon. Sheldon would come by and like give notes. He was like I don't even know what you call like a supervisor or whatever. He like when the show was close to opening, he would come by and give everybody notes. And he would always ask for weed. I'd be so mad. I'm like, come on, man. Fucking doing the job. You're supposed to give us notes. And I had another director that
Sheldon asked
Yeah.
for weed.
oh
He
always,
was
yeah,
an
yeah.
integral part. He would come give shows right before you opened, and it was like almost like the word of God.
Yeah.
That's how it was
Hey,
set up.
Jerry,
And
did you like Sheldon's notes?
I did. Yeah, no, he was great. He was smart. Sometimes one time he told me I was playing a kid and I thought I was like killing the part. I was playing a little
Oh,
kid.
Sheldon Patinkin, everyone. Sheldon Patinkin.
Sheldon Patinkin. Yeah,
Keep going.
and he famously did not like adults playing kids. And he would be like, if you play a kid, play him smart. Don't play him like a little kid. Don't play him stupid. He said he called my
Yeah.
character retarded. He's like your child character. I was like, yeah, here it comes the good stuff.
Well, that was the golden,
I found them
golden
retarded.
rule of the golden rule of doing
Retarded,
retarded people was that they were smarter than everybody,
Yeah,
and that's
That's
how you get
also-
away with it.
he's like,
I hate kids on stage too. I hate playing kids. And I've played. We've all played a lot of kids on stage, and you just got to say it like it is. And like Dell says, get off your fucking knees. Stand up for.
I got it. I got what he was saying because he was like, I found him stupid and retarded. He's like, is he supposed to be? And I'm like, oh, I guess not.
Yeah, he had good notes. He gave me a very complimentary note that was like a little slap on the wrist.
He told you were. Was that
He
the?
said my scene was. He's like, that was the most self-indulgent thing I've ever
Self-indulgent.
seen in my life.
That's right.
Well, that was
And
my
he goes,
review of
but then he
Aztec.
kind of like ruined. And then he kind of undercut his note with but you're fucking hilarious or
but it was
something like
funny.
that. But it
Yeah.
was fucking funny as hell.
But you should
Cut it
say
down.
this. It was a probably a 30-minute, if not that, monologue.
It was
What are you talking about?
it was like a 6-minute scene that turned into like 15 because I just kept improvising crazy shit. But the crowd was on board the whole time,
Gotcha.
and it was all improv of just crazy shit that happened. Basically, the premises were all playing like Dean Martin roast people. So everybody's got weird wigs and all this shit.
Mm-hmm.
And the
All right,
premise
off
is
to a good start.
we're roasting this old comedian who I used to be in love with, and then I just start going on all the things she did to me.
Mm-hmm.
and it just turns into this epic fucking horrible thing where I'm in hospital with a retarded guy, and she set the room on fire. And the retarded guy's like, "Get me the fuck out of here!" And I'm like, "Oh, I'm trying."
Yeah. So you turned it into your own private mini Harold.
Yeah.
Yep.
And so, no, it was self-indulgent, but it was like one of the magical times of my life because I was like, I kept this audience laughing for like 15 minutes.
Come on, sometimes you gotta just ride the pony.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Right?
Don't forget, the most important thing is being funny here. Everything else is secondary. To come
But the
and give
note was
yourself
what?
to the funny.
The note was what? Don't do it again or cut that shit down.
He cut that shit down. Don't be so cute,
Yeah.
kind of thing. But
Don't run away with the show.
then he said it was brilliant. I think was the word he used. So I was like, oh, that's fucking great. I didn't take the other one was like, of course, because also it wasn't in a show. It was like when you try scenes after the show, right? So Monday night was a best of show, and then we'd use those times to start writing scenes and trying them because on tour you would sometimes use your own scenes. Like when I toured with Matt and Ian, they wrote a lot of the sketches that we did on tour. Like we were barely doing the best of because those sketches were so good. I think Ask
Right,
Penny we did
that was unusual for a Torco at the wasn't it? Probably still is for them to write their own
Yeah, it was.
material. But
I
you
don't
got
know about now,
writers.
but back then it was. Back then it was kind of like, okay, it's not. You could try, and then if the producer liked it, he'd be like, yeah, just put it in, but then do the old ones too, standbys.
It's the same way now.
The musical number to close out the first act.
Yeah.
But then like Ian and Matt wrote these scenes, and we would just take them on the road and do them.
They end up the touring companies would end up changing a lot of that stuff so much anyway that it wasn't even recognizable from the original.
Oh, that's
they're taking it from
Yeah, so it became our own little companies. We became our own little companies, but
well, a lot of that stuff they were doing was from the '60s too, so they would have to change it,
Yeah, I mean, I can imagine now you can't do much shit anymore now from that time. I mean, you can obviously.
You'd be surprised, but yeah,
you can do Bean Can forever.
Yeah, yeah. The funeral and the funeral thing and the Christmas thing. I think they still do.
And they probably still do Pictionary.
They still do funeral.
I think so.
Bean Can. What is it?
Yeah, I think so.
Bean Can. What's the
that was
one? Oh, yeah.
Belushi's dad died from getting his head stuck in a can of beans.
And I think that's one that like might not be even recognizable now. And Horatio, they all do the improvised song that we did in our show. Like they're still doing that.
Oh wow.
Yeah.
You know what?
That's something that really stuck.
Joe Flaherty tells that bean story on my podcast, and I just found out there's a video of it. The boys saved a video that I didn't know about, and I should take that little story and others and put them out.
Yeah.
Sorry, I just interrupted for a commercial break for my podcast. See, because my hearing's bad. I faded.
Wait, let us put up the graphic. Let us put up the barcode that leads right to your podcast. Hold on a second. There you go.
No,
if I could, I would.
That's how they do it. That's how we write exclusively a commercial.
Yeah.
Also, there's an April Fool's sale on Cameo. If you guys need a video of some kind, prank maybe, April Fool's joke. I'm pregnant, but not really. These are options.
Are you on Cameo?
I am, yeah.
I have not gone on. They bothered me a bunch a couple of years ago, and I never did it. I should get on it. And have you done any videos for people?
I've done about 10.
Do you charge top dollar?
I think I charge $200.
Wow, yeah.
And we basically split it. So it's basically I'm doing it for $100. And that's fine, but not. But
you're kind of expensive.
Because I was doing it for cheaper, but then I'm getting like $50 to fucking. You have. There's a thing you have to work a little bit.
Yeah, I see some people do it for fairly cheap, but I would assume that they are doing it because they think they're getting more volume, just like anything else. Like do more of these,
Yeah,
so I'll get
Hmm.
my price cheaper.
yeah. But I haven't done one in a while, and yeah, I don't publicize it.
I should be
I did when I first got. Well, what happened is what had happened was I met up with like the president of the thing. We went to
Mhm.
Beverly Hills and we had a steak dinner, and he bought me steak, and and he really wanted me to do this fucking thing, and I couldn't understand why, but whoever, whatever, maybe SNL people on there would be good prestige, I don't know, but but I ended up saying, if you give me this amount of money, I'll join, and he gave it to me.
I think
So
that they want every celebrity on it. That was the idea of like having every like
yeah,
you.
but to take me to a steak dinner, that's a lot. That's
We'll buy you a steak. Join our join our
yeah,
group, and
and
I, the
that,
president
and
of the
that's how much it
company, will
costs, the
buy
steak.
you a
No,
steak.
no. So I go, obviously sensing that they wanted me so bad, I asked for money, and he did. He put it in the account.
That's nice.
Hmm.
Hey, could
But
we
so
cut
no,
back to Second City for a second? You got me
of course,
curious now.
sorry.
What's it? No, I'm the one who went into plug land. What scene from the '60s did you guys have to do when you were in Torco?
Um,
You did that. I know you did that. The Christmas scene.
what's the Christmas scene?
Is that with Mary
Um,
and Joseph, and it's all the
Mary and
jokes about like, oh, my
yeah, Mary
dad
and
this,
Joseph
and
at the marriage counselor.
see that scene's been played
Oh,
out
oh
so
yeah,
many
yeah,
times by other groups by this point that I feel like audiences don't want to see that scene anymore because you've seen every type group do that, and kind
what
of
was good is
exhaust
that
that one.
You'd be surprised in the Midwest and a lot of places that
Steve,
that's the kind of stuff they want to see.
Steve
Midwest
Carell and
got you.
Steve Carell was a part of a cast that was really smart with Colbert. They were in a cast, so we were kind of doing their good scenes, which were really well written.
The Pictionary,
Um,
Okay.
Pictionary
we
is
would
from
we would
them.
take we would do a lot of their scenes because they were well written and they were more modern. They were younger and they had it was a lot more fresh. So that's where we
Right.
kind of took. And also,
I see.
if you can, you take something from Pinata, but Pinata kind of has to be on its own.
That was harder, yeah, because the show kind of was intertwined. Scenes came
Yep.
and went, so it's kind of hard to put. Our show was kind of like that too. It's hard to put scenes from shows that were the scenes were split up, in the show. How can you
Like
take that
chop,
to the touring
chippity
company?
chop.
They're chopped,
Did
yeah.
you try? Did you do Gump?
Some touring companies did Gump, yeah. They did it.
That's a
They
tough.
figured out. They figured out how to do it.
Right.
And then we did. Oh, and we also did Northwestern scenes because there was a Second City Northwest that's getting ignored here. They
What's
were they
that?
were also very funny guys.
Ignored, getting ignored.
Oh yeah, don't ignore them in your book, Delaney. Second City Northwest.
No, I'm not doing a history. Well, I'm doing a history of Harold. And Second City didn't really care about the Harold, so I don't talk. But I
No.
do. I do talk about Second City sometimes. But I mention them. But no, it's not that kind of book.
Well, it was
It's
hard.
just like
The Herald was hard. I mean, people started doing it because we would do these improv sets, and there was a tradition to the way the Second City did their improv sets from when they started from the '60s, and it was taking a suggestion, going back into the audience, or going back into the dressing room, talking a little bit about what you wanted to do, coming out with, props and shit like that. And Herald, you just stand in line, So it kind of didn't lend itself to creating material, but the cast like demanded it because everybody was doing it at UCB or not UCB at Empire Olympic, and a lot of people had come from there. So they're like, why don't we do Herald? Let's do a Herald.
well, the problem there too is that a lot of the people that were involved in the touring company weren't great improvisers. So we had already kind of gotten to the level of the Herald and all that and passed it, and these guys hadn't. They'd been like at a training center. So a lot of times it was just a thing of like, well, they're not into it, so I'm not going to push it.
Yeah, I hadn't done that shit, But I did understand, like, everybody also wanted to do it because, Adam brought that whole style to Second City. They were doing two different things. And Adam said he wanted to do a show in the style of a Herald. So that Pinata Full of Bees show was in the style of a Herald. That's why scenes were broken up. They left and came back and stuff like that. And then people wanted to do more Heralds at Second City. I still don't know how. Like now, they've gone back to doing more game stuff because that seems to lend itself more to the way that they do stuff at Second City.
Yeah, I think the audiences that go to a Second City show probably expect a little bit of what's my line or who's my dad.
So, in the
Yeah.
last 5 years, if you pick any Second City, Chicago, Toronto, wherever, and you're going to sit in on the
Northwest.
set after the show. They do the show, they're going to do a set, you sit in on the set. What are you doing? Aren't you doing like a montage? Isn't it kind of an archaic Harold, the loosey-goosey Harold?
They were doing that for a while. Now they've gone back to doing like coming out with scenes the way they used to do at Second City. They may, if they're working on a show, right? If they're trying to come up with material, then they're definitely gonna like get suggestions, or they're gonna go back in the dressing room, do some ideas, and come back out and do them. And then maybe after that, they'll do a short Herald after they try out some scenes that they've been wanting to try, or have done some games.
So like long form style, just take a suggestion and go. They don't take lists and shit like that, do they?
No, they'll just take a suggestion and go.
Yeah.
And
so
just,
that
yeah,
is
just
really
do montage stuff, yeah.
So that's long. That's long form, right?
Yeah, but they don't do it for the whole set. You know what I mean? Like they'll do freeze tag, and they'll do 3 Through the Door. They'll do a lot of those games.
Okay.
And then they'll do a Herald. You know what I'm saying?
So it has
Games of politics.
Yes, Raj?
Games of politics. It's not needed in a Second City review. No, I've never been comfortable with it. This goes back to being, I never liked playing animals. So if someone made me an animal, I would just be like, smoking cigars and standing up.
I'm just a talking dog.
I'm sorry. This is how I stand now on my hind leg, and now I'm smoking as well.
Like, hi dog. Hello, I'm your dog. Take me out to go shit because I have to.
Yeah, I never liked playing animals or kids.
I mean, being able to do that is also a skill. Like somebody like, that is the skill of improvisation, of like being able to take a bad suggestion and intelligently turn it around into something good. People like Tim Meadows is really, really good at that. Really good. Like,
yeah.
Oh, lame. Put you in a lame situation, and he just like would turn it around and then make it something interesting.
That's what the best Second City people I think are really great at, is they could take a scene and sometimes really turn them around and open them up.
You said you were talking about those Who's Line people, and I was never that big of a fan of the show. In fact, when I was working at Mr. Show, we shot in the same studio a lot, and I used to watch them record Who's Line, and it was
I've seen them do it live.
Painful. I thought that was the most painful thing I've ever watched, is watching that show get recorded live. Should do that over and over again. It was hours and shit, man. And they would do more than one episode too. Fuck that.
Yeah.
I used to feel sorry for the audience, man. But when I was in Toronto, Colin Mockery came in. He actually he subbed for us.
He's a very sweet guy, very nice guy,
very good guy, and awesome. I mean, like watching that show, I was just like, oh yeah, those guys are like, they can improvise, man. But when you see him on stage, I mean, like, yeah, one of the best, and especially that short form game shit. I didn't have an appreciation for that until you see him do it, and he would have fans. Those Who's Line fans would show up, and that was when it was still when it wasn't even on Comedy Central yet. I don't even know what it was on British show or whatever.
That's how I was into. Yeah, I got sucked into it. I mean, obviously it was improv. I'm going to watch it, but the first time I saw it, it had Jonathan Pryce on there.
Who was he?
English actor.
He was improvising.
No. I mean, who was he? He was improvising. Really?
Oh yes.
Wow.
It was it was that British guy who was the host, Clive Anderson.
Yes, that was the first before because Drew Carey just became a fan of it, watching it, and was like, "Oh, I want to be the host of that." You know, they still do it. They still tour. I was just looking at my friend.
Yeah, it's still a thing.
I
I think Joel Murray does those.
Joel does them. Yeah, I have a few friends that do them.
That's been good work for him. He's been doing that for a long time.
And they got fans that follow them. They've been following them for 30 years.
I did a show with them in near that dude's hometown, and we filled up like an old town. You know, it had a big theater like all those little towns have, and he filled it, and the town was crazy about him. You know.
Yeah.
So they have their fans, but it felt like when I was working with them, it felt like I was working in a different factory.
Yeah.
It just was really. I had a hard time getting into what they were doing. You know?
Yeah, it's a whole different rhythm. That's the way I feel about Groundlings. And I do the show with them sometimes. It's fun, but I can't do it every week. It's just so different from the way that I came up. At some point, I get frustrated, you know. Like they do, the show I did with them is a directed show. This was a director directing your improvisation. And it was fun when I first started doing it. And then after a while, I'm just like, I want to do what I do, you know? Like I got an idea. I want to get out there. And you got to wait for the director to put you, you know, or to tell you what character you're going to play.
And they can pimp you into whatever, and it's supposed to be fun for the audience, which it is. It's a nice, fun challenge.
Yeah.
Yeah, but it's not our style.
Right.
Our style is not to be any style.
That's the long form way. That's the Harold way. Is you got to wait till that moment comes, and you got to go with it. And sometimes
well, also being pimped. I mean, when I first being pimped, when people for the explanation of that, being pimped on stage is like when somebody makes a suggestion and kind of makes you do what they want instead of leaving it open and you making the decision. The person in the scene with you is in a sense pimping you into whatever your actions are, your behavior.
The blow, pretty much. Yeah, they're pimping you into doing
what they want you to do.
The blow that everyone's thinking you should do because you're fat or you're whatever.
Right.
Yeah.
See, because short form runs on DC power like a battery, where all the power is coming from one direction, whereas long form style is like AC power, where it's always this combination, this thing that's moving, always moving between more than one person, or if it's one person, it's between them and the audience. But AC power is give and take, and DC is one direction, and that's what it is, where it's purely interpretive, like doing Hamlet. Mounting Hamlet, that's DC power. We're going to be like a battery, where we're a company, we're doing this play, it's all going in one direction. But if that's the improvised version of Hamlet, that's AC power, where it's you and me, we're going to do a different version of Hamlet every night. We got to have real AC give and take going on that. Maybe it's the happy Hamlet, maybe it's the angry Hamlet, maybe it's the musical, maybe it's we do the tragedy for real. That's real improvisation. Good night. and now a word from our sponsor. Wait, we don't have any sponsors.
Here's a question. If you had to be a character like Catan's Mango, how would you play it? We were both actually in the Mango sketch. I remember.
Are you kidding? I was in a fucking Mango sketch.
You were. I remember that.
Background player, but he did so many mangoes that even I was in one.
Yeah. And
I didn't really appreciate it at the time because I thought it was just too big and too much of a gimmick.
Yeah, that's what we all
just
felt.
Pure annoyance. Like I don't like pure annoyance comedy. Like if someone's annoying, they get their comeuppance in the style I came up with. But as you know, Jim Carrey was super big, and so that kind of thing became kind of great to. And he would jump on stage and act it out and like spit apples at people. So, people laughed. I think they were laughing uncomfortably.
See, I liked the first Mr. Peepers, but then when they drag it through the ground, through the mud, whatever that phrase is, when they beat the thing to death,
Well, I
that's
mean,
that's when you start
it beat him to
disliking
death,
them.
basically. So,
Oh, because he broke his neck?
yeah.
Was that in a mango scene?
No, Mr. Peepers.
Oh no. Well,
Yeah.
that's good. Yeah, these things happen. What happened to Chevy? Broke Chevy's back doing his falls.
I was just thinking about that, like,
Buster Keaton broke his neck too, but he didn't find out until 20 years later. It was just another stiff neck to him.
Yeah, man, you gotta watch it. You can be asked to do some silly stuff, and a lot of times, like, people aren't really thinking about you getting hurt. Oh, Rave's left. You just have to, like, go, hey, wait a minute, because you can, when he's doing it, I don't think anybody ever thought about him getting hurt. That wasn't even coming in my mind that he was getting hurt doing that stuff.
Well, no. Well, if you're getting hurt, you're overcommitting. This happens to.
Yeah.
You think so? This happens to Americans much more than it happens to Englishmen. Englishmen don't hurt each other on stage. They don't get carried away with. They don't take it so seriously like we do, and start beating each other up on stage. The English see that and they're like, "Oh no, my dear boy! Like, what are you doing to each other? It's acting." Oh dear! Like, it's a pity you couldn't act that.
There's no touching in English improv?
There's touching. Plenty of touching, lifting, carrying, holding women high above our heads. Lots of that in European improv.
Who's the guy that played Captain, the captain in Star Trek? He's a British actor.
Jean-Luc Picard.
Yeah, who
Captain
played him?
Jean-Luc Picard.
What's his name?
Patrick Stewart. Patrick Stewart.
I was doing a TV show with him, and he was telling these stories about the West End, about theater. And he told me a story about a dude that is like famous West End actor, went up on his lines and walked off the stage, walked off in the audience, and never performed again.
That's it. I'm done. I think I've heard that story.
I just heard. Just yesterday I heard Bill Murray on Stern. I think it was 2 days ago. But he told a story about doing improv, probably at Second City. I'm not sure, but he bombed so bad that he just walked out of the theater and just walked for miles. And he walked so far that he was going into like the bad parts of town. So he's like, "Fuck, I better turn around." But he was just so out of his fucking I just need to fucking go.
He probably walked down to Cabrini Green. He probably walked down North.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, he probably walked to the But so yeah, he was like I almost quit. Everyone has those moments, but he figured like this is all I can do. Really, this is like what I really enjoy.
Just walking. What's wrong, motherfucker? Bad set.
Get your ass out of here, Whitey.
Everyone on the street.
Dog Whitey.
Get used to it, asshole.
I have forgotten all about that because we used to joke. I used to joke with Brandon Johnson. I used to say when I had a bad show at Second City, I let a white man shit on my chest. Get me right for the next show. I'm all right now. But I was looking at when I was directing the show that the cast had a bad set. I mean, just like awful, like just. And I was like in the audience, I was laughing, I'm having a good time. I'm thinking like, oh, it's hilarious, So I thought I was gonna go back, like, oh man, we'll get them tomorrow, man. No, it was not like that, man. They all fucking had their doors shut. Nobody wanted to talk at all, man. It's fucking, they didn't want to talk to each other. Everybody just wanted to get the fuck out of there. I was like, okay, I get it. All right, yeah.
Yeah, that never changes.
Yep.
Hey.
I thought we were all gonna have a good time about it, but yeah, I get it. You want
Yeah, you're removed. You weren't up there.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, right. I didn't get embarrassed,
And plus,
right?
and for us old dogs, sometimes when people do it bad, it's funny.
Yeah.
It's just
well, I know that there's I
it
know
is
there's
what
a
it
million
is.
shows coming after this. I know I don't mind now. I mean, like now I can bomb. I don't give a shit. I know that I've done well before.
I always tell the ASCAT story, but that's what ASCAT came from. Like we were doing a show and it was bombing, and we gave up. So Besser and Joanne are doing a scene on stage. No, Besser and
Joe.
and we're all back yelling, ASCAT, ASCAT. Adam was like, ASCAT, like just completely sabotaging your friend, a friend of ours. But it's like, you got us into this fucking mess. You booked us in a fucking bottom of a bar. 5 people here. And no one likes us.
Yeah.
I didn't know that.
I didn't appreciate the of Mice and Men quality that it had. Of we're just gonna put our friends out of their misery. Like they're bombing so bad, they're drowning. We're just gonna fucking put cement on their feet and help them.
Yeah, it's also, it's pissing on the audience. It's also pissing on the audience saying, like, fuck you, these assholes don't deserve it. Let's end this and start really drinking. That was the idea.
And wait a minute. So
Okay.
was it because the format was just like the Armando Diaz, but Armando would do the
No, we
monologues.
did sketches.
I know, but wasn't it like was it nobody doing a monologue at first?
We had our we would write sketches and just put them up.
For
I don't think we did improv.
No,
For
Rod's
ASCAT?
just talking about the etymology of the word ASCAT.
Yeah, no, but it became the show.
Yeah,
and then
Right.
And did it have that format when it first started? Was it like?
Yeah.
No, they basically they took the word because we all remembered it, I guess, and loved it. And then when they had to do their show in New York, that's what they called it. And
Right,
their
that's
format
right.
was a monologist and all what you've seen.
But
their
and then
show.
they were taking the ASCAT stuff from the ASCAT and putting it in the TV show, right?
Eventually, now New York ASCAT had been up for several.
Oh, they've been doing it.
A few years before the TV show, and then when the TV show came around, it did become a place to pull sketches from, to rip sketches from.
But let me get this straight though. They always had a monologist though. Always had a person doing the monologue.
Pretty much, yeah.
Always.
If not, one of them would do it.
Sometimes in the early days, sometimes they would be self-generated. They always had the assigned monologist. Once in a while, they wouldn't show up, and when that happened, either ensemble would share and anybody could tell one, or somebody would just be designated. But eventually, they always had a designee, even if the monologist didn't show up, they'd pull someone else from the green room or from the audience. I got pulled from the audience many times. That's how I got originally cast on the Conan show. Because I got booted out of ASCAT. It wasn't the first time. Not really booted, just kind of excused for a while. But they were playing at some different theater. So I wanted to see the show. I just wanted to see the show. I was kind of tired of being in it anyway. Because I wasn't that good at the time in that show. I had to be with my own people. I wasn't fully trained at the time. So I tried to watch the show and mind my own business, but I got pulled up to be monologist. The monologist didn't show. And Jonathan Groff happened to be sitting in the audience and saw me. And I got cast on Conan the next day to do a bit with Andy's little sister, played by Amy.
Oh, wow.
Like literally the next day.
That's how it happens, guys.
Now, Andy Daly slept through the call. They called Daly first, and he literally slept through it. He didn't hear the phone. So they went to the next guy, which was me, and it was Groff's idea. He said, I saw somebody last night I think I can do it. Call this guy. And it was history.
I have a worse story from
I love it.
ASCAT. I did an ASCAT, and it was one of those times that I didn't have a monologist, and I got roped into doing it. And I'm always was bad at doing it. Never good.
Really?
Nobody's ever liked it. I don't know. Yeah, I can't tell you why. I try, but audiences don't like me doing monologues. So I got roped into it, and it happened to be some reporter was in the audience and did a review of the show and was like, everything was good except for Jerry Minor. I don't know who this guy thinks he is, but he's not stand-up. And I'm like, I know I'm not. The fuck, man? His stand-up routine was terrible. And then it kept saying that his routine was terrible. I'm like, fuck, man. Did anybody explain to this motherfucker, man, before he came here what the show is? Not only did I get roped into doing it and not want to do it, but now I get shit on for my routine. That's not even supposed to be a routine. Who is this guy? Why did they have him here? He was the only thing that wasn't funny. Surprising, too, because he's been on television. I'm like, damn it.
He's what they call sometimes in improv the sacrificial lamb. Because it's like, hey, you, go out there and do this for 5 minutes, and then we're going to make fun of that for like half an hour. And then guess what? You get to do it again. A couple times.
Jerry got gigs doing stand up when we were doing SCTV, and so he would try some. He would do his bits. Second City.
It's a slip.
And
I'm wearing my SCTV t-shirt today.
I remember Jerry was kind of like, damn, I need to write or I need to work on that, but we'd be at the bar and whatever.
I need to write this fucking stand-up I got to do for the show.
Yeah, he's getting paid. And that time that was good money. But yeah, it wasn't going well. He didn't like it, but I remember.
Yeah, you made a lot of fun of me.
Work. You did a lot of crowd work.
Because I ran out of material in like 2 minutes, and I'm like, all right. Everybody got it. Everybody in the crowd. Like, not just one person.
You went to everybody. Like, where are you from? Boston. Boston baked beans. Am I right?
All right.
Hey, how about you?
Right next to him.
Wow, it smells like shit up there, doesn't it? There's a lot of snow up there, Denver.
All right, you. Right? You mean right next to me? Yeah, right next to him. We're going down the line. You'll be next.
That was your crowd work?
That was my crowd work. Everybody. Because I didn't have time. I was like, all right, well, everybody's going to get it.
It's pretty great.
Yeah, and some bits were like that. Where do you work at? Dean Witter. Ooh, okay. Anyway, okay, you.
Just not getting it either. Like, I must do a lot of typing over there. Am I right?
Anyway. Well, yeah, and that was also a function of I had a job. And if you take a job like that, of course, you got jokes already. You don't go and write your stand up. You should have that, done, tried and true material. You don't go try to write a stand up routine. That's stupid.
Yeah. You'll get hired first and then I'll figure it out after that.
Yeah.
I've only done stand up a couple times. And when I do it, it's usually in character.
Yeah, that's what I figured out years later. That's what worked for me, which I should have done. Like, yeah, just go from character.
Yeah. Yeah.
That's so what they
did. I had an alter ego. There was Coco Marx, the grandson of Groucho. And he would just tell the old jokes with a modern twist.
Yeah, I know.
Coco Marx. Well, what's old is new. What's old has not ceased to be new.
And I have to, of course, explain to the audience who the Marx Brothers are.
A little exposition goes a long way.
Ladies and gentlemen,
my grandfather was Groucho. You guys know who Groucho is? He's part of the Marx Brothers. Insanely great comics from the 30s or 40s. And there's 50. Anyway, I'll do Coco Marx. So I'd smoke a cigar. and I come out with a really bad suit. And one time, Brandon saw the show and he fucking laughed his balls off. He was like one of the only ones. Really. He just loved that I was trying this stupid thing.
Well, I figured out that if I was going to go up and do something by myself in LA, there was a few places that I could go and I could do what I do instead of trying to like do stand up and do some jokes or whatever. Places I could go up and go in
people had
character.
cool rooms at that point, right? Like
Yeah,
people like Luna, you'd go. It became a specialty to have just 5 minutes, and you did characters and did songs, and yeah.
I could go up and do any bit, and people would be right along with it. I didn't have to explain, like, oh, this is this or whatever. I could just start the bit, and people would, they get it. So that helped. Who says the Marx Brothers are better than the Stooges?
Well, apples and oranges.
The thing about it, the Marx Brothers for me was a rarity when I was a kid. The Stooges came on every fucking day, so
right.
So there was that. The Stooges were like candy, and the Marx Brothers were like caviar.
Caviar.
My dad loved it, so we'd watch it. He'd somehow know when it was on, but usually at night, really late.
Marx Brothers?
Yeah, movies.
I never took to Marx Brothers when I was a kid. I didn't have the patience for it. I mean, I had the patience to watch Harpo do his thing, but somehow the Groucho stuff and when I was, a lot of it went past me.
Middle school for me. Middle school, and I was just like, oh shit. Because I love the Stooges, and I was like, they don't compare. But then when I got into middle school and I started to get the jokes, the Marx Brothers were way better. But again, rare.
I love them both. I love them both at the same time.
They didn't. I just wasn't exposed. I didn't get a lot of exposure.
What didn't make
you didn't have to. And Groucho's doing the same type of jokes. Like he's in love with this giant rich woman who's taller than him, and he's using her, and he's insulting her. He insults her throughout the movie. So if you miss a little joke here or there, you still get the gist of it. And her reactions are magical.
Yeah, you know me. I'm not as joke driven. I'm a little more behavior driven, even back then.
And that's kind of Mango-ish and annoyance comedy. Not the annoyance theater, but being annoying because
well,
this fucking guy Harpo was chasing women and shit and like grabbing their asses.
Yeah. You see, Harpo represents the id, the primal man, whereas Groucho, the intellectual man, and naturally Chico, the swindler.
The immigrant.
Swindler.
and Chico.
Oh, and by the way, they're the most excellent, seriously excellent musicians. They all play different instruments perfectly. Now,
each one
go.
in his way.
You forget that about the Marx Brothers. They always had musical numbers.
They did in every movie, yeah.
And they fucking Chico would do these crazy piano riffs that were just brilliant, and so would Harpo. I mean, I don't know. Maybe Groucho didn't play, but he played guitar actually, a little bit.
Yeah. He would sing.
He mostly sang.
He would sing.
You know what? When Groucho got very old and he wasn't even really talking much, they would still roll him to his favorite places. He's in a wheelchair. But when someone sometimes on stage start to sing a song and Groucho would rise, he would rise out of his wheelchair and start singing. Loved to sing. He
knew all these old songs.
He loved to sing. He sang a lot. Whenever he wanted Dick Cavett, he always would do a couple songs.
When I first started,
I love the thing about Groucho was he was old, about to die. They were like, "Well, what do you like? What do you think's funny?" He goes, "I like the Schwarzes," and he liked Sanford and Son.
Yeah,
really?
Like that was his fun. That's good shit.
You got to think like at that time that was the comedy that he would have liked, and also Red Fox was an old time comedian, like
Yeah, he was like a vaudeville. He was like a vaudeville act. Yeah, I'm sure they loved it.
Yeah, these guys weren't
Um,
born old. They had lives before we found out who they were.
Right.
and then Larry Fine, I like Saint Elsewhere. That's a good show.
It ended with a dream. Oh
And
shit.
ended with a retard having a dream, but I don't know what that said about us, but I like that. Mo would come over and watch it.
Raj, you got that ready to go Larry Fine.
You gotta hold your nostril. Hey, how you
So
doing,
it's like,
lady?
hey,
I'm working
Mo.
on it.
Yeah, you're right. One nostril. Hey, he had a
Leave him alone.
deviated
Leave him
septum.
alone.
You
I think
gotta
that
do
was gonna,
deviated septum.
from getting whacked in the side of the
Lady.
head. Like some of those whacks, when they get whacked and you see like their hair would fall on their face and they'd be like looking like that, you could be like, that was a little hard.
I
Oh,
remember seeing one of Larry's interviews, last interview. He's like, I'll tell you, whatever you saw was what we got. Whatever Mo did, he didn't pull punches. What you saw was what we got.
the fuck are they putting like anti-pain medication on their faces? You're going to work, you're gonna get the shit slapped out of you. Yeah, those weren't
Well,
like.
And they had a
Curly
they
had to
had a
retire like a boxer. He had to retire at like what was he like 40,
Yeah,
well,
50?
and they
his
had
heart
a
was dead.
they had a
Not a
manager
stroke.
that
His
was like
head.
a
His head.
they had a manager who Ted Healy who like would write and like come up with their help them come up with their bits and stuff. They had like a guru who was telling them to do that shit. Harder, slap harder.
Oh yeah,
So
yeah, yeah. Those guys were fucking. Those vaudevillians. That's some Buster Keaton was just being slapped around and thrown around. That's why he became an acrobat, pretty much. Because just getting beat and thrown around. They did it. You needed to hear it at the back of the room, man. Hey, if you can't do this thing, just go for it.
Can you imagine that getting smacked in like real life on camera? I mean, not in camera, but on stage. Like it just should be.
Yeah, just for a bit. No thanks. Those guys are
well,
fucking going for it.
I did teach my son a lot of the slapstick moves, and we did a lot of trust falls and things like that. And also, Jerry, I didn't want to show my kid like TV and stuff, but I was in recovery at the time. I had some serious kidney issues at that when he was about 2, 3, 4, that age, and Linda had gone back to work. So what I did is I would rack up these old movies, Chaplin movies, Keaton movies, and Marx Brothers movies. So Milo would be in the playpen, and sometimes I would kind of fall asleep a little bit, and you know how it is when the TV's on. I knew it was going to be on sometimes. And so instead of having the old broadcast TV, I would pipe these Marx Brothers movies. So I ended up seeing all the Chaplin features and a good long handful of Keaton features. And Milo latched on. Now, I know there's a lot of lascivious stuff in there and stuff you don't want your baby to see. So I guess I kind of exploited my child in that way because more or less I wanted to see the stuff and I didn't want him subjected to who knows what. And I knew this stuff was pretty much PG. Most of the stuff that was questionable was all stuff that was going over their heads anyway.
Right.
I didn't have any. I had no governor as far as television. There was nothing I couldn't watch. There was no movie
No,
we
but
couldn't go see.
the governors were there though through the broadcasting. But the bets are off now
Right.
on cable TV. They show every horrible thing. But the governors were
Well,
there more in terms of
the second run theater in my neighborhood would always show these fucking crazy movies: Hell's Angels, House on the Hill, fucking
oh, in the movie
violent,
house
crazy
that's
movies.
different. I was talking about
Yeah,
TV. You're talking about the movie house. That's different.
right. TV at the time would only do so much damage, but
Hmm.
now it's a little more like murder and all the fucking other things that could freak people out. But at the
Hmm.
time, that wasn't the case.
Yeah.
And
No.
so you went to the movies, and that's where I kind of my mind got demented, was from the movies I watched as a kid. Like, you're learning from this. This is what life is. There's the family, of course, but then this is the real world out there. And I just sucked right into it.
Did you have cable? When did you get cable? Like to be able to, like, did you have HBO or?
I didn't get cable until I was like in high school.
Yeah.
Middle school.
Because
Yeah,
Chicago
I was already 12.
Chicago had some weird political reason why they wouldn't let cable come to town.
Yeah, I'm sure it was. I'm sure it was business, right? It was,
The stations there, yeah, they probably were like, this is going to take over and make us obsolete. They didn't know streaming would do it 30 years later.
Little did they know.
We had this cable thing called Channel 100 when I was a kid. I think it was like maybe a 5th or 6th grade, and that was the first cable where people could see movies, and that was the predecessor to HBO. HBO wasn't much long after that, and we had HBO. And then we had some like other channels too, where like there was some porn. It was like softcore porn, but it was scrambled. You had to like order it. But we had a cable. We had a cable box that you could see movies.
That's the porn alert. That was
that was a porn alert.
Beep. And it's the FCC now. Anytime anyone says porn on a podcast, that alarm goes off. But you're allowed to talk.
Sorry, yeah, guys. I'm very. I don't want raising hearing stuff like that.
So, it's you.
I have governors on my phone. Yeah.
So was this like closed circuit, Jerry, where it's just like they just serve one sort of little region and
yeah, you had a box. You had on TV. You had this in Chicago. You had a box first, and you had a sports channel and a movie channel.
Yep.
And then
that's what it was.
So we had boxes, and then eventually the regular cable came into town.
But
that too had like a dirty. That had like a dirty button too, right? It had Spectrum, which was kind of. So these boxes had one dirty channel, one movie channel, and one.
Like maybe
depending on what you ordered. If you didn't order the adult channel, then I guess you wouldn't get it. But
that's right. It would be scrambled, and I remember because I could like fiddle with our cable box and make it come in, make the dirty channel come in. If I I just hold the channel like the dial in between the channels, and it would scramble. It would make the scramble go away. Yeah.
Wow, what a victory! That's a huge victory for a middle school kid.
Oh shoot!
I used to think that that's how you had sex. You had to move like that. You had to move like a scramble.
Oh no! I thought that's how it was done, babe.
I'm sorry, babe.
We had that and an antenna, and we had a motorized antenna. So you could like push a button and the thing would change. It would motorize. The antenna would turn. So
change
you
it.
Signal.
Yeah. I remember that.
Yeah, we had one of those too. Yeah.
If you change the channel too far, it'd be like, you'd hear it on the lawn.
Yeah, you have to like mark like, oh, that's channel 2, and channel 4 is this over this position. And I had one where mine we could get. We're close enough to Canada, so I could get like Detroit stations. I could get stuff that even wasn't on cable, and I would watch PBS in Canada from my antenna. And they did a lot of nudity. They would do nudity. They had nudity in there on television in Canada.
Right, because Canada's perverted. Yeah, maybe they're. I don't know are they less perverted because they're so open with it, or
they would show stuff from like Europe, so it'd be like boobs, Like they weren't like
yeah, but it was more like in England we knew that they were showing boobs.
Yeah,
but we
like on Benny Hill.
We knew that they were showing boobs in France or something.
Yeah,
but not here. No, you can't see boobs here.
Well, they do
unless
it in
you go to the movies.
And since Canada is a member of the realm, they're a member of the Queen's realm, so they do it too.
A little bit more European.
I remember the 70s was very like a lot of B films where like the women get, and not even like regular films like Bad Boys. I remember seeing like the Bad Boys movie and there's a woman gets raped. I'm like, Jesus Christ. Like everybody got raped in those movies. So much rape in the 70s.
That movie was so stupid.
Like then you had to go get your revenge. That was a lot of plot to movies. Like guy's wife gets raped and he kills everybody. All right, here's $1 million.
Every 70s movie was about revenge. It was always revenge. All the Clint Eastwood movies were about revenge.
Yep.
Rich Man, Poor Man was very prominent in my mind as a kid. Rich Man, Poor Man, really, that's reality.
You know, even
The
Animal
miniseries?
You
House.
have, there's always going to be an evil guy who wants to fuck your wife or your girlfriend, and eventually he kills you because it's like, holy shit, what?
You know, even Animal
Um,
House is a story of vengeance ultimately, um, because you
Yeah.
can't win against the powers. You know,
Oh,
but we could be heroes for one day. You know, we can fuck these bastards
one
up.
day. Somebody says
and then,
Be a
of
fun.
course,
in Chicago it took years for cable because Chicago City Hall took a long time to figure out how the table was to be sliced and diced between all the money. We had to go to the burbs to see MTV for years.
Wow.
thank
So
you.
yeah,
Who
yeah, it
is
was
that?
Sir Thomas Horatio. Nah, man.
Great guy. Great guy.
There's a lot of Horatios out there, Horatio.
I know.
You're not
A
you're
lot
not
of
the
people were
new one.
born in the 90s. A lot of people were born in the 90s named Horatio, and I meet them all the time.
In the '90s, really.
Um, they were all whoever had sex in the 90s. A lot of people were naming their babies Horatio. So, and this is a true
You know
story.
why?
When,
You know why? Because
huh?
children always accompany. Because children are always there on. They want children there on their deathbed, and they're these highfalutin types, and they want to be able on their deathbed to say, "I am dead, Horatio," like Hamlet. Hamlet's my theme of the day.
And
Last
your
ball, Horatio.
it's Horatio, and is yours spelled with the T or is it with the C?
No,
The actual
yes and
spelling,
no.
Horatio.
It's spelled with a T now, but it was
It
the
was with the C.
Spanish spelling of it.
All right.
Horatio.
So, and then the H is silent, so it's Horacio.
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 Horatio.
But
Horatio.
then, but then I didn't want to be typecast when I was coming up, so I just said Horatio. I
That's
made a
the yeah.
decision to be Horatio with a T. But there's no Horacio, I think, in any of my credits. Probably one or two, but
Well, it's basically
yeah, that's
the
the story.
translation of the name, right?
Yeah,
But
that's
if I
that's
guess
the
if
direct
you were,
translation.
but if you were like, do you? I don't. I guess I don't. I don't know like many Pablos who became Paul or Paul like Paul Rodriguez, right? His real
I'll
name is
tell you
Pablo,
one
isn't it?
thing.
Yeah,
If I
yeah.
went off, if I became an expat and went down to live out my life in Chile, I'd expect everybody to call me Miguel.
Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
they couldn't say Mike.
But if I
I'll lift
introduced
on Mike.
myself as Miguel, I would
But if you
embrace
did, yeah,
that though. I
of
would
course they
embrace it
would.
and feel comfortable with it.
You've always liked that.
But I wouldn't be
Well,
Geraldo
my
because I'm not.
Julia
My name is
master.
Jerry. Like I wasn't Gerald. I wasn't named Gerald. So I wouldn't be Geraldo. Although when I took Spanish class, that was my name. I had to be Geraldo.
Really?
Yeah.
Just for just to give the teacher some satisfaction.
You had to have a Spanish name, yeah, in class. So that was as close as Gerald, as closest.
Could you
It had to be Gerald.
could you be Yeti?
Yeah, I was like I thought,
Yeti?
but like, I guess that's not really translatable. So
Is
I like
Raj
Raj Vincent.
frozen?
Yeah, he's frozen. I love that though. It's
That's
great.
his new headshot.
Yeti, yeah, Yeti.
When he freezes, it defaults to his headshot, and that's it.
Yeah, I like
Um,
Yeti. That would have been nice.
Jerry, no, my middle name is Gerard.
Oh, okay.
See, my mom was informed by her obstetrician that she had lost the baby, which she in
Oh,
fact had. She in
where's
fact
this?
had lost the
Where's
baby,
this? Where's the
but
story going, man?
the story's going before my birth. Now, there was a second baby. You see, there were twins. One of them hadn't died, so she prayed to Saint Gerard, the patron saint of expectant mothers, that if he pulled her out of this one, she'd name her son after him. And so there was a second child. It was me. You see, the twin had died, but I had survived. And so
Are you
now she had
kidding?
this pact. She had this pact she had made with Saint Gerard. Now she's trapped into it, and she doesn't like the name Gerard, but she's
I'm back.
locked into it. As a good Catholic, she's locked in, so she named me Michael Gerard.
That's crazy.
And that's how I'm a Jerry. If I wanted to be, I could have gone the Jerry path.
Wow.
Raj,
Well,
you just missed out on an intense
you missed-
story, perhaps my most intense story ever.
Really? I guess I'm glad.
Look, okay. Here's
Pretty good.
I don't want to get too involved in that.
So it's a question from one of the viewers is so they never found the other baby?
No, they found it. Believe me, they found it.
You know, yeah, my mother when she had me, this woman had a baby and left it, and at the hospital they were like, "Do you want to adopt it? Just say you had twins." And my mother was like in Chile, and my dad was in Chicago, so she's like, "Fuck, this is a huge decision. I want to, but I don't know."
Wow.
So she worked at the hospital as a nurse's assistant, so they were going to do all the paperwork and it was going to be fine. You know, just you had twins. That's it. It wasn't like we'll put adoption paper and then
nobody would know. Yeah, who would know, right? Yeah.
Really? Because this lady had a baby and escaped, went to the bathroom and then left.
Abandoned. Wow.
Abandoned. Yeah.
That's the easy way
like,
of doing things.
I can't make this decision without talking to my husband. You know, and then later, so the girl probably got adopted by someone else, maybe another nurse. I don't know. But my dad was like, "You shoulda." And like that mom's like, "I didn't, because it wasn't just so easy to call somebody back then either. You know, they had to be home.
Yeah. How you just jump on the phone, yeah. Right.
Wow.
But my life would have been so completely different if I had a twin like that.
Well, that's always haunted me. That's always haunted me, Raj, because I was a twin. My mom had, for some reason, she told me this story at a very early age that I had a fetal twin.
Oh.
I didn't make it. That's what I told Jerry when you were away. So.
And it was developed, or was it attached to you?
I really don't know. But the two started and only one came out. So I always had this weird twin envy. And always wondered what it would have been like, how the path would have been different had I been a twin. You were an almost twin, too.
You probably would have found comedy, and maybe so would I. So, I don't know. Maybe.
Yeah, I was going to say, there's somebody in Chile, there's a comedian right now, like the Chilean Horatio Sanz.
I don't think it's harder when you have a brother. I think it's harder if you have a twin. It might be because you don't want to be known, as a twin.
Yeah, but they would have been like fraternal twins anyway, so they wouldn't, they didn't look like each other, so they wouldn't have been like that, They'd just been the same.
We'd still be weirdos, though.
Yeah, you went to school
together.
We'd
weird like twins.
Yeah.
You develop that because you're growing up together and you're learning the same things exactly, and You're just like, this is bullshit. You got that thing with the kid where you can be like, your brother and sister, be like, we know this is all horseshit, but whatever. So they're like, they become their own entity. I don't think it's because you're born together. Well, never mind. That's probably wrong as well. But I think a lot of it is how you were raised. So I think you would be like, you would have that same kind of thing where they finish sentences and they kind of know what the other one's thinking, and if the other person gets hurt, they feel horrible. It's crazy. You could have been a twin.
Nature. It's nurture versus nature.
You could have been the Delaney brothers.
Yeah,
and just been an improv team.
I'm Miguel, and I'm Gerard. For the next 2 hours, we're about to take you on an improvisational drama, tragedramedy.
Is it tragedramedy? Tragedramedy.
Your
romance,
dramedy,
tragedy, comedy.
Your tragicomedy and your dramedy. This is a tragedramedy. Uh-oh. Clock on the wall. We're coming up on the 2-hour mark here.
Yeah, I was going to say one more thing. Sir Thomas Horatio says he was a bartender at the last act. British fans added the Sir, and Horatio's are actually Thomas. His name's actually Thomas.
Hey,
Oh, okay.
Thomas.
Thomas. I'm trying to remember. If I saw that
Yeah, I am
picture, probably.
too. Yeah.
Um,
Well, it's a picture of a dog on here, so he's a dog.
he might be. He might be dog. Like identify as dog.
I always say that to people on social media. Like, well, you're a horse. I'm not a horse. You got a picture of a horse. You're a horse. Fucking don't tell me you're not a horse. Fucking horses and dogs on this fucking shit, man. Messaging people.
Yeah,
all
when you
like
see
social media.
animals, I mean, I don't know about Thomas, but when you see animals up there, you know something ain't right back there. There's a reason why. And then you look up the pictures, and it's all just like plant shit. It's like never of them. They're just like, fuck this. I'm not putting myself out there to be ridiculed.
Some people used
There's
to
a lot.
put up their babies. They don't do that a lot anymore. Where you just see the poor beleaguered infant photo because they're
Yeah,
just so
because
happy they
people
have a
hate it.
baby. Hmm?
People hate it.
Yeah.
Oh, it's because they hate it. Yeah, I did. I guess I hated it too.
Me too.
But I would put up my kids' drawings, which is not as annoying. It's just the baby picture. But
Yeah,
it's
and
still,
those were great.
they're still a little annoying.
Well, this is what I'll
No, he
start
was
putting up.
good. That was cool because it was like I thought he was going to be like a prodigy, an art guy.
I know, but it was the drawings were just a
Recognition.
conduit for writing.
My,
What do you got there, Jerry? You got a
my primetime Emmy award.
you got a
Hey.
primetime Emmy? What category?
Best black.
Uh-huh.
I remember I went to the ceremony.
It's a weird ceremony though.
Best black in America.
Yeah. Of all time.
Lifetime achievement?
That's
You're a
all
little
time
young
black.
for a lifetime achievement for being black.
Best all time black. I'm gonna put that on my resume.
That's good.
Best all time
Put that
black.
in your special skills.
I ran for
Awards.
America's favorite black on Jimmy Kimmel. I did a bit on Jimmy Kimmel years ago.
Oh yeah.
I was running.
That's funny.
I was running for America's favorite black. Yeah.
Yeah, Kimmel.
He used to let me come on and do anything, and then he didn't. Then he started getting guests. He started getting like real people when he first started.
I know.
it was like,
I co-hosted that shit for a week. I was like, I didn't do great. I didn't really add much. It was weird.
it was
but,
awesome. They had that was when they had that bar in the back, and
I mean, it was awesome, and I got all my friends drinking in the back of the bar, and we were having a
Yeah.
great time.
was
But
great.
I don't remember it being like it wasn't like a great fit to be the guest host, and then the guests were weird. Anyway,
I don't remember any of this. What network was this?
when it started, it was like the first year or second year, and they did, and Kim was pretty smart, so he just kind of like worked with the people that he knew were funny and got a lot of people involved.
Okay.
Yeah, and his
Yeah,
one of his main writers was a guy from New York, and he I forget where he'd worked, but he was a Harvard guy.
Yeah.
So
Well, Jerry,
I
don't know. Jerry, you're in good company. Buck Henry said the same thing when Tonight Show went from their 90-minute format to 60 minutes. They used to let him come on and do whatever he want. They always prepare those guests, but Tonight Show was longer. It was looser back then, and Buck Henry could come on and they would just talk about whatever they felt like talking about.
Yeah.
And if Buck had a bit, he could do whatever bit he wanted, but it was usually just them shooting the shit. But then stuff gets bigger.
If Johnny Carson liked you,
to go.
he would. If Johnny Carson liked you, he'd just let you go. He loved it. He hated when Bob Hope went on. He's like, "Oh, this fucking shit," because he wouldn't communicate. He would just tell jokes.
He just do what it was all him. feel like a lot of people
Nice
didn't
and
like
clean,
Bob Hope.
but anyway, it wasn't like, hey, how are you? Good, good. Hey, I got this. It was just like right away, just bit. So he just hated it.
All
He'd come on,
business.
he'd walk on in the middle of the show,
Hey
and everybody's
everyone,
like,
how you doing?
"Yay, Bob Hope!" And then he'd sit down with a golf club and just tell jokes. I'd be like, all right, I gotta go, and he'd get up and leave. Then the person was there, and he just didn't like that. Like, gotta put up with it. It's NBC here too. Don't forget.
Whenever Bob Hope did Letterman's show, he never came through the curtain like a regular guest. You remember they'd introduce the guest, they'd come out, do the showbiz jog, come out. Hope would
Yeah.
come through the double doors. I'm not doing it. I'm not going fucking backstage and worming around the curtain. You open those double doors next to my dressing room, and I'm gonna walk right. Hey, everybody! How you doing? He had his own fucking private entrance.
Well, I kind of love that. I kind of love that. He's like, get out of here. I'm not going to go through the
I'm
curtain.
not doing that.
Haven't you watched me on Carson? I walk out and everybody loves it. Get the fuck out of
That
here.
was me reading in. I don't know why he insisted. He could have just done it for the cachet of it so it looked like he was doing a walk-in. Like, we didn't expect this guy. He just happened to be in the building.
It probably was just inconvenient.
Just think about, like, the audience is so excited. They're tourists that are there to watch Carson. They've ordered their tickets, and now they're getting to see Bob Hope. I mean, Bob Hope was huge. I used to watch all those movies, too. The road movies. And Marx Brothers. Those kind of came out around the same time on Chicago TV. And they probably run on them all the time. But, yeah, I liked them.
I had never seen Road to Morocco and those road movies, which is what they parody in that Casablanca episode of SCTV, the Fantasy Island.
Oh yeah.
So I thought it came on TV, so I'm like, all right, damn it, I'll watch Road to Morocco. Woo! Rough going.
Yeah, I haven't watched them since I was a kid, to be honest. Maybe I've seen one probably since I've been a full-grown adult, but and it was always about at the end they're always going for the girl, and then Bing Crosby would always get the girl.
Yeah,
and
they're
Bob
friends.
Hope never got the girl.
They're friends, and then they become frenemies.
Yes, because they're on the road. These things happen.
Right, and the smooth guy gets the girl because the comedian is the goofball. He's I'll tell you what, and he's the one who, like Red Skelton, the imbecile. He's the one who helps the handsome man to get the girl.
I was just watching some of Under the Cherry Moon, and that was like Prince's.
I was seeing about that this morning.
Yeah, they did a review of it on How Did This Get Made. And I didn't remember that movie. I remember it being really bad, but he was trying to do like a road movie kind of thing, Hope, whatever, Bing Crosby thing, in that movie. But then he was also trying to be like, he's making weird faces. He's trying to be like Valentino.
Who's in that movie? What is that? What is that?
Prince.
One?
It's Prince's
second movie.
What?
Yeah, and he and Guy Jerome, who was the helper in the time, was his like sidekick.
And they made
it was like a buddy movie. Yeah, it was like a road movie, a road buddy movie. They went to France.
Wait. It's set in the 20s or 30s.
No, it's not.
It's not?
No, it's modern day. They just put it in black and white.
They just happen to dress that way.
No, they're dressed like
like
Prince. Well, he's supposed to be rich, but if you saw it in color, it wouldn't look that way. It's just because it's in black and white. It's supposed to be like in the Riviera, but it's supposed to be modern day.
Oh my gosh, I might have seen it and completely forgotten.
It's not in that style, all right? Maybe a little. I don't know.
The style, because it's so bad, and then he tried to make it into like this road movie or whatever. So the style is really old. So that's what makes it seem like it's in the 20s.
And it's basically Prince failed at doing comedy. He probably didn't like that. Probably hurt him hard. But that's pretty much what happened. Is that this isn't funny really. And
when musicians try to do comedy, It doesn't go well.
Yeah, like
So-
as long as you, but it was a musical. It's a musical movie. But it's not like Purple Rain where it's like it's Prince. You know, basically it's him and he's on concert or whatever. Like like the music comes out of nowhere. He sings, but there's sometimes that he sings. He's performing in it. He's supposed to be like a singer or whatever. But then again, he's supposed to be like a gigolo. And then he and the other character Jerome were like, it's implied that they're gay, but then they fight over the woman. It's all weird. It's just,
Weird.
I gotta watch this flick.
yeah, it's just bad.
Hey, I got a hump.
Okay, guys.
All right,
Well, hey,
boys.
thank you for the comedy.
Thank you to our 9 audience members for watching.
Right?
Thanks, Jerry.
They built up as we.
Those are our biggest numbers so far. So.
Well, a lot of people watch
on
after we do these, and so
No, I know.
you know.
All right, dears. I'll talk to you later.
All right. Good hang,
you,
fellas.
guys. Thank you,
See
guys.
next
Bye.
time.
And once again, thanks a lot for coming to play in the back of the room. I got 2 symbols up there. Let's take one of those out. Once again, I'm going to be coming with a new guest. I haven't really finalized what my first guest is who my first guest is gonna be, but I guarantee you it'll be somebody good, somebody who's had a lot of experience in comedy, and it'll be a one-on-one, just he or she and I talking. Please come on, ask us questions, tell your friends, subscribe to the channel, and thanks a lot. I'll see you next week. Bye. How do I get out of here?